Howdy, everybody. Who is ready for day 2 of fractions? I hope you raised your hand. Okay, you are going to need today pages 471, 473, and 475. I'd like you to rip those out and get ready to work. Okay, today's magical word of the day is decompose. And when I think of decompose, I think of decomposers in science when we talked about the food chain. And decomposers are all the way at the bottom and they break down bacteria and fungus and dead things. So when we talk decomposed fractions, we're breaking it down. So we're going to start by looking at 11/8 as our fraction. And Karen is putting 11/8 into 3 bowls, and she tells us the amount of chili in each bowl doesn't have to be the same. So how much might she put in each bowl? Okay, those are my bowls. I know they're not very good, but just go with me here. You know, art is not my strength. I know that each fraction, we're making 3 fractions, 3 bowls, and we're talking eighths here because our denominator always stays the same. And we need to come up with 3 fractions that are going to add up to equal 11. So I'm going to start by just throwing out a 3 for the first one, and then a 4 for the second one. I'm just kind of guessing here, but 3 plus 4 I know is 7, and then what would the last one have to be 11? It'd have to be 4. Okay, I can check my work to make sure that I'm correct by adding up my numerators. 3 plus 4 plus 4 equals 11, and my denominator always stays the same. So I'd like you to come up with another combination of 3 fractions that when added up equal 11/8, and don't forget your denominator always stays the same. Once you have those 3 fractions, pop them into the Edpuzzle. Okay, you should have had all eighths, and maybe you said 2 plus 5 plus 5. Sorry, that one out of work. 2 plus 4. That equals 11. And there are a bunch of other combinations. I just want you to go back through, add your numerators, and at the equal 11, boom, you got it. Okay? All right, flip your paper over. We're going to take a look at them explaining this using a garden. Okay, so my garden has 6 sections. The last one we're going to always leave empty. So we've planted 5/6 of the garden. And we can break down 5/6 a few different ways. They show us that one way they did it was they gave 4 1/6 sections of blue flowers and 1 1/6 section of red peppers. And you can see that in the photo. There's 4 1/6 and then 1 1/6. If I add 4/6 plus 1/6, I get 5/6. And this is one way that we can decompose or break down 5/6. 4 plus 1 is 5. Over here, they did it a little bit differently. They did 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and 2/6. And if I add up 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2, I still get 5/6. And you can see it in the picture too. 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 5. And that's another way that we can break it down. So that's all we're doing today. So stay with me and let's head over to page 473. And we're going to take a look at question 3. The first thing we're going to do is break down 3/5. Let me remind you that the denominator always stays the same. So I'm going to automatically fill in my denominator, fifths. And then my numerator, I have to fill in my numerator so that they equal 3. So I'd like you to, right now, you're not going to pop this into the Edpuzzle, but I want you to just stop and think to yourself, what 2 numbers would I add up to get 3? Put that into your paper. Let me give you a few seconds. Okay, I hope you were thinking 2 and 1 or 1 and 2. Just to let you know, we're not going to use 0 as a numerator, 0/5. Okay, so we're going to throw 0 out the window, and we're going to use 2 and 1. Okay, but let's take a look at the one next door. It wants us to decompose 3/5 again, but to do it 3 times. So now I want you to tell me in the Edpuzzle, what is the numerator going to be? There's only one answer here. What does the numerator have to be in order for it to be 3/5? Pop that in. It's got to be 1, right? 1/5 plus 1 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 equals 3/5. Okay, let's move on to question 4. Now we have a mixed number. We know what mixed numbers look like because we've already studied them, yay. But before we can put our mixed number into before we can decompose it, we have to backwards see it to figure out what the mixed number is as an improper fraction. So the first step is I'm going to multiply 4 times 1 and add 3. Can you write that down on your paper? If I backwards see what is 1 3/4 as an improper fraction, we should get 7/4. Now I know that my two fractions, when I break it down, I'm going to add them up and get 7. Can you put into the Edpuzzle what two fractions that are fourths can we add up to get 7/4? Do that now. Okay, I went with 1/4 and 6/4. Maybe you went with 2/4 and 5/4, 3/4 and 4/4. Either way, as long as your numerators add up to be 7 and your denominators are 4, you're good to go. Okay, let's do some more practice. Number 5, I'd like to see what you know how to do now. I would like you to do number 5, just solving this part of question 5, and then put your answer into the Edpuzzle. Go ahead and do that now. You need to tell me what two fractions, when I add them up together, I get 4/6. Okay, when you pop that answer in, did your fractions have denominators of 6? And did your numerators add up to get you 4? 1 plus 3 or 2 plus 2 should have been your answers. Okay, now let's do a practice problem with a mixed number. So let's take a look at number 7, 1 3/5. When they give us a mixed number, the first thing we need to start with is backwards seeing. So I want you right now, the video is going to pause, and I want you to backwards see 1 3/5 and enter into the Edpuzzle what is the improper fraction for 1 3/5. Go. It is 8/5. Did you get that right? Okay, now that we're set up, we can put in what two fractions will we get to decompose. If we add them up, we get 8/5. Enter that into the Edpuzzle. Okay, all we needed was our denominator to be 5 and our numerators to add up and be 8. Okay, I want you to do that one more time, but this time you have to do it decompose 3 ways. So give me 3 fractions and enter that into the Edpuzzle. Go! Okay, I hope you're catching on here and getting the hang of this. 5ths, 2, 2, 4. When I add those up, I get 8. You could have had a different combination. Just go back and check and make sure. Do your numerators add up and give you 8? Got it? Okay, flip it over. Okay, let's take a look at question 11. Remember, good mathematicians underline and circle important information in word problems. Jackie ate 1/5 of the bag of popcorn. She shared the rest with Enrique. List 3 ways they could have shared the remaining popcorn. Okay, we're just going to take a look at this simply. So I'm going to start, and I want you to write this on your paper too. Jackie ate 1/5. I need to figure out what Enrique and Jackie ate if they ate the rest. Okay, we have a bag of popcorn, and she ate 1/5 of it, right? How much was left? 4/5. Okay, so now what I need you to do is to come up with a decomposing fractions problem that shows the rest of what they ate together. So I need you to give me 2 fractions that will equal what they shared, 4/5. Can you do that now and enter it into the Edpuzzle? Go. Okay, did your fractions have fifths as denominators? And did your numerators add up to be 4? 1/5 and 3/5. Or maybe you said 2/5 and 2/5 because you thought they were being really nice and shared equally. I have one more question to ask you about this. Why are we only decomposing to 2 fractions? And the answer is this, guys. We know that there are only 2 people in our problem here. Enrique is eating some and Jackie is eating some. We don't have any other people joining us, no imaginary friends. It's just 2 people, so we decompose into 2 fractions, okay? All right. Last question we're going to talk about today is number 16, and this one's really important, so I want to make sure that your brain is still screwed on tightly, okay? Stay with me. A teacher distributes a stack of paper to 3 groups. That's important. Each group receives a different amount of paper. Select all the ways the teacher can distribute the paper by decomposing 1 and 2/3 inches. All right. The first important thing I want us to go back to is take a look at the information in the question that asks you, how many groups are we distributing the information to? It's 3. So I want you to go down to our answer choices and cross out any that do not show 3 groups. Okay, we should be getting rid of the last 2. The teacher cannot distribute to 2 groups or 5 groups. She said she distributed to 3 groups. Okay, now we're ready to solve. We have 3 options to pick from, and the question tells us select all the ways, so that means there may be more than one answer. When we work with a mixed number, there's something we have to do first, and I hope you're remembering that we have to backwards see it. Okay, I'm going to let you work a little bit more on your own for this one, but what I want you to do is to backwards see the 1 and 2/3 and figure out what fraction we're going to have as a mixed number, and then which one of these adds up to give us that improper fraction that we got from the mixed number. When you finish, you are going to put your answer choices into the Edpuzzle, and then you will take a look at page 475. So go ahead and put your answer, work out this problem, and then put your answer choices into the Edpuzzle. Okay, you should have gotten 5/3 when you backwards seed, and then you need to pick the 3 options that add up to be 5/3. 2 plus 1 plus 1, good. This one works. 2 plus 2 plus 1, good. This one works. So I have 2/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 1/3. But did anybody pick this one? This one's actually correct as well. This 1 represents 3/3 or 1 whole. 3/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 does indeed equal 1 and 2/3 or 5/3. So you should have picked all top 3 answer choices. Okay, we are done with today's lesson. I'd like you to take a look at page 475 and circle these problems. These are the ones you're going to be completing on the front side, and if you need more time to circle them, pause the video. On the back side, you are going to be completing question 9, question 11, and question 14. Once you finish those questions on the front and the back side, you can turn it into the black bin and then make a math choice. Good work today.